Do you like the sound that's coming out of this microphone right now? I know I do. And it was a real shocker when I first plugged this bad boy in and listened back to my audio takes, my audio recordings, because it's a very familiar sound, a very expensive sound, a sought after sound that everybody is trying to achieve. The Neumann sound. To be specific, an SA-87i. Stam Audio is a company founded by Joshua in Chile around 2014. And they have one singular purpose, which is to replicate and reproduce vintage sounding audio gear. And a lot of the stuff that they reproduce, well, are Neumann mics. Now, Stam Audio has tried to reproduce the U87i, or the U87 in particular, several times. I believe they went through like Mark II or Mark III. This might be Mark III. But if you take a look at their website right now, it's just called Stam Audio SA-87i. There's no mark, nothing. And I think it's possibly because the folks at Stam Audio and Joshua have perfected this mic. And I think they have. I'm going to do a quick review on this mic. I've been waiting for it for a very long time, and I can tell you that the wait was definitely worth it. And I'm also going to compare it to some other legendary mics that I own, and just kind of give you guys an idea of just how amazing this mic is. Now, throughout the entire video, I'll be giving you the unprocessed and processed vocals. So far, up until now, you've been hearing unprocessed vocals. Now, I did add a limiter, or I may have, bumped the gain up or whatever, just to get the levels correct, but there's no compression. There's no EQ. There's nothing. You're just hearing the mic, the sounds of the mic, as I am talking through it. If you are curious, though, here's the processed vocals. Now, I am not in a sound-treated area. This is not a studio. I'm so excited about this mic that, well, I decided to just bring out the camera and hit record and just start recording whatever I can to share this new piece of gear with you guys. I'm going to add a noise gate. I'm going to try to eliminate as much of the room noise as possible. But yeah, this is the process sound. It's a very flattering mic. Now, before I continue on with this video, I wanted to pause and give a very special shout out to a specific YouTube channel, the Preservation Society. I'm a fan of that YouTube channel, and he actually did a review on the Stam Audio SA-87i about 6 months ago. And I had no clue who Stam Audio was. I never heard of them. And because of his video and the sounds that he was able to get with his Stam Audio mic, I almost immediately pre-ordered this one. So go check out his channel if you haven't already. I absolutely love his channel. I love all his videos. He puts a lot of time in his videos, and his review on this microphone is very detailed. So if you want to see the original OG video, go check him out. But thank you for suggesting this microphone and opening up the world of Stam Audio that I didn't know existed before. And that's kind of the takeaway here. It's not just a great mic, but it also accomplishes the mission that it's trying to achieve. It's the closest replica, to my ears, of a true Neumann U87i. The Neumann U87i and what the folks at Stam Audio were trying to achieve was a very specific sound from a very specific mic during a very specific era. And in particular, they were modeling it after a very specific U87i that they just absolutely loved. And every U87, every vintage mic, any vintage gear that you own or you're trying to get, whether it's a guitar, a microphone, an amp, whatever, they're all going to sound different. This microphone reminds me of a studio U87i that I had the pleasure of using, renting at a studio for a lot of money. And I think this nailed it. I really wanted to get that microphone for this video. I reached out to a friend of mine that works at this studio in Hollywood. Honestly, I completely understand. The owner was not willing to lend out their vintage U87i to me, nor were they willing to allow me to go over there and record this video. It's a very popular recording studio that has very expensive clients, and they are always booked. And I think people have the misconception that you can just walk into a recording studio, pay the flat fee or the entrance fee of like $50 an hour, and they're going to give you all of their expensive gear, right? They're going to hand you their $3,000 and $6,000 guitars and $10,000 microphones or $20,000 microphones if, you know, it's in pristine condition, and just allow you to record with a flat fee of $50. That's not actually how it works. The big boy studios that have the expensive stuff, they're going to make you pay a lot of money. So you've heard the unprocessed and processed vocals. I'll be toggling in and out throughout the entire video. Look at the bottom of your screen and I'll let you know if they're processed or unprocessed. I want to talk about shipping and pre-ordering from Stam Audio, and there's a lot to talk about there, but also how the mic arrives to your house, because I live in the United States and it's coming from Chile, you know, packaging and all that stuff. So let's start off with pre-ordering. I didn't know this at the time, but I guess it's a well-known thing that Stam Audio gets pretty backed up with their pre-orders or their orders in general. And because everything's handmade and, you know, very detailed, right? You can expect really long wait times to actually get the product at your door. I ordered this mic, I want to say sometime, I believe it was the end of July, right? Right after the Preservation Society video came out, maybe within like 3 days, right, of watching it. And I barely got this microphone last week. It barely arrived. Yeah, like last week. So I got it sometime mid-November. It was at my door. That's a long time to wait. What I can tell you though is the wait was definitely worth it. This mic is high quality. I can tell that they didn't use cheap stuff here. They used expensive stuff. I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you, because the entire thing just reeks quality. The price is very affordable. So that's a very unique and great thing for the consumer, right? You're getting a very high quality product that sounds like the original, but at a great price. It comes in this case, this hard case, which protects the mic just fine. I recall it was just kind of like bubble wrapped and, you know, taped. Honestly, the shipping packaging was fine. It was well protected. There's no like packaging or branding, right, when you get the mic. It's just a case. You open it up and there's everything, you know, inside that you've been waiting for. You get the mic itself, you get the shock stand. That's about it. I would have paid a little bit more, honestly, to get like a wooden case because I love this so much. I don't think it's going to live in the wooden case. I think it's going to be out most of the time, but I love it so much. And it just, again, it reeks quality. And I just wish we would have had like a nice, like, I don't know, mahogany wooden case or something like that to really show it off and transport it. So if you are going to pre-order, you do get a special price. I think it's discounted $100 or $200, something like that from the retail price. And that also throws your name in the hat for the next batch. The next batch approximation time is not accurate. Again, I ordered in July. I remember it said something like, you know, it would ship out August or something like the month after. And that wasn't the case, right? It shipped out much longer than that. So you just got to be patient and expect to wait. I also communicated with them often. Hey, what's going on? When am I going to get it? Things like that. And they always were very responsive with the emails, but it is what it is, right? They're sourcing the components. They're hand making this thing. It takes time. They're a small company. It's not a huge company. You're not like dealing with like Shure or, you know, a large company where this is mass produced. It's a mom and pop shop, in other words. And you have to put down a down payment to, do the pre-order. I think it's like 150 or $200, whatever it is. And then when it's ready to ship out, they'll send you the final invoice and you pay the final invoice. And I think after that, within 14 business days or something like that, they'll ship it out and they'll give you a tracking number. Once I got the tracking number from Chile to the United States to California, it took about 5 business days. And I think it was shipped FedEx. So no problems whatsoever. I think overall the transaction was very smooth. I just got a little impatient. I'm not really going to toggle between all the settings or anything like that. Right now I have it at the omnidirection, right smack in the middle. We are at 0 dBs. There is no, low cutoff, anything like that. It's just neutral. Let's put it that way. And I think it sounds fantastic. Overall, it's a very attractive mic. They also sell the tube version, which is modeled after the Neumann U87. And I can't wait to get my hands on that. I actually talked to Josh and they're working on a Mark IV, which should be coming out next month. And I am a huge tube fan, tube mics, tube amps, you name it. I'm a huge Neumann U87 fan. And to be honest, that is my dream mic. So I cannot wait to get my hands on that one. And you can bet your butt that we're going to do a quick review, a quick video on that as well, and compare it to this mic. Speaking of comparing mics, let's bring some other mics into the game right now. Some legendary mics that I own. We'll go through a couple, not going to go too crazy. And I just want to give you guys an idea of what the sound sounds like. Okay, for my first magic trick, here is another legendary microphone. A lot of you are probably really familiar with this particular microphone. You've probably seen it on all of your favorite podcasts, and even maybe some of your favorite YouTubers are using it. This is the Shure SM7B, a fantastic microphone. You are hearing me through the Shure SM7B right now, unprocessed. And now you're hearing me through the Shure SM7B processed. And now we're back to the Stam Audio, the SA-87i, processed. And now you're hearing me through the Stam Audio unprocessed with nothing applied, just equalizing the volume levels. Back to the Shure SM7B unprocessed. Again, just leveling out the volume. You guys hear a big difference? You should hear a big difference. This is a dynamic microphone. This is a condenser microphone. They are very different microphones, but it should give you an idea of the flavor of each microphone. One thing I did want to note about the Shure SM7B that a lot of people don't know about, I guess, or maybe they're not familiar with, it's not necessarily just a speaking microphone. It's not a podcast microphone or whatever. It's actually a very legendary microphone and extremely useful for tracking vocals for music. Actually, Michael Jackson had used not necessarily a Shure SM7B, but an earlier version of the Shure SM7B to track some of his vocals. And if memory serves me right, the lead singer of Kings of Leon loves the Shure SM7B and has used it throughout his entire career. There's something about the Shure SM7B that makes it very flattering, especially for people that have a lot of mids in their vocals. It generally has a very flat response, right? It's going to give you a very flat vocal. And when you are EQing it, you can kind of really do whatever you want. So for somebody that has a lot of mids and maybe a little nasally, the Shure SM7B really does kind of work with that kind of vocal, right? It just pairs nicely with it because of its flat response. The Neumann U87 and now the Stam Audio is a completely different microphone. We're talking about a completely different beast that has this like flavor, the zest that's baked into it. It's definitely not a flat frequency response, right? Still really easy to EQ. I mean, EQing is not a problem with this microphone. It's a dream to EQ. But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is two different mics. So let's get a Neumann up here. I don't have the U87i. I wish I did, but I have one of my favorite vocal mics that I personally own and I think it's a fantastic microphone. It is a TLM. It is not the 102. It's not the 103. It's actually the TLM 49. I think it has the same K capsule, if memory serves me right, and it's modeled after the famous Neumann M49. So let's get that up here, and I think that's going to be a very interesting comparison. So here we have it. Now we have the Neumann TLM 49, a personal mic of mine that I've used for all sorts of things. Anywhere from tracking just basic dialogue vocals or voiceovers to tracking singing voices, both male and female voices, for music. And it's performed exceptionally well. It sounds fantastic. It has a very appealing voice. And now you're hearing it processed with all of my presets. The Neumann TLM 49 is also very expensive. It's pretty much double the price of the Stam Audio. And it's also very big. But it has that signature Neumann sound, build quality, look, feel, and presence that a Neumann commands. You also get that badging that everyone looks for. Is it worth double the price of the Stam Audio? Now you're hearing the Stam Audio processed. And I think the Stam Audio, for being well under $1,000, and I mean a lot less than $1,000, if you pre-order it, you're going to get it for what, 600, 700 bucks? It's pretty hard to beat. Both fantastic mics. I'm not going to get rid of either of them. You can tell just by having them next to each other, they're very different. Again, this one's modeled after the U87i, and this is modeled after the M49. So they are very, very different. I do like how the M49 sounds on both male and female vocalists that are tracking pop songs, right? Or ballads. And I love how the Stam Audio sounds on both voiceover work, but also on rock vocals, that vintage 50s, 60s, 70s sounding rock music, even 80s. That's where this mic really shines. I feel like you're getting a lot of that vintage sound, that rock sound in it. But again, it's so versatile, and that's why it's been so legendary, the U87, throughout history, because you can use it for anything. You can use it for voiceover work. I mean, it was used on like Lion King, for example. I know you guys have seen the behind the scenes on that. All of your favorite rock stars have used it over the years. Rap, R&B, jazz, whatever. You can use it to mic your acoustic guitars, your electric guitars. It's a versatile mic. The TLM 49, not so much, at least from my experience. This is a vocalist mic. That's it. I think it does okay with acoustic guitars, but I'm not going to be miking an amp with this guy. I'm not going to be miking drums. When it comes time to do vocals, this is definitely a contender. These two are definitely contenders.